Welcome to Chaos to Clarity, where we discuss healing trauma with godly guidelines. I'm your host, John Fontenot. If there's any topic you'd like to discuss, please let me know in the Q&A section. Let's dive into today's topic, insecurities. It means uncertainty or anxiety about oneself, a lack of confidence. It's a common feeling that most people will experience at some point, and it can stem from numerous sources. Generally, it presents as a lack of confidence, anxiety, and uncertainty. We have to work at identifying and addressing our insecurities and find new ways to feel security and stability or a sense of worth, which propels us into happiness and improved well-being. Easier said than done, right? Maybe not. Our insecurities come from a lack of emotional support, a lack of physiology need, a lack of emotional intelligence, lack of openness, lack of being agreeable, underlying mental health conditions, being over-dependent, all of which cause us to lose trust and question ourselves and our worth. And it can show up differently in each person. It can cause awkwardness, a feeling of inadequacy, low self-esteem, poor decision-making, being overly critical of yourself. Sometimes it creates perfectionism or being overly confident to hide how you really feel. Poor communication patterns, which focuses more on the needs of others than our own. God reminds us in Philippians 4, 6, and 7, do not be anxious about anything, but in everything, by prayer and supplication, with thanksgiving, let your requests be made known to God. And the peace of God, which surpasses all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds in Jesus Christ. A personal experience of mine is I've always disliked my nose and my ears. They seemed unusually large to me growing up. I mean, you can't feel cute and girly when you look like your dad. That's how I perceived myself in my mind, thinking I was hideous, and I wanted to change my appearance. I used to research nose jobs and then get grossed out about the surgery procedures. Hello, if you've ever went down the rabbit hole of searching cosmetic procedures. But I longingly wanted to change this about myself. I would circle back to it very often because it was something that I didn't like about myself. And I would always be so disgusted by the process and think, is it really worth doing this to change my appearance? Is it really worth spending that much money and being in pain? And then I was like, God made me this way. And for me to be disgusted with just even watching the surgery, I was like, maybe this is His way of showing me to be confident in how He made me. Allow myself to be happy with who I was and how I looked. Because the thought of altering it was not something that I would follow through with. My appearance of myself was a magnification of being rejected, being abandoned, and being treated poorly. It wasn't how I actually saw myself. It was how others' behavior made me perceive myself, which had altered my mental state. You see, how other people act or project things onto us, it isn't a reflection of us or not being enough. It's about them. They're so insecure in themselves, and they only know how to belittle or, push things onto other people to not deal with their own emotions. We are all beautiful and unique for a reason. God designed us for our destiny purpose. He didn't make mistakes. We are God's masterpieces. We are an original. In 2 Timothy 1:7, it says, "For God gave us a spirit not of fear, but of power and love and self-control." It also says in 1 Thessalonians 5:24, the one who calls you is faithful and he will do it. We have to pour out our hearts to God, share our fears, our doubts, and our struggles. Through prayer, we can find solace and strength in God's love and promises. Instead of feeling less than by our identity crisis, we place our identity in Jesus Christ, the one who made us. He molded us in His image, and we are priceless to Him, and we are a treasure to the kingdom. He created us for a purpose, and He loves everything about us. More references can be found in Galatians 5:26, Joshua 1:9, Zephaniah 3:17, and Isaiah 45:1-2. Thank you so much for listening to Chaos to Clarity, helping one another declutter our minds together. If you're loving the podcast, I'd be so honored if you'd go ahead and hit that follow button and leave me a review. Until next time, friends.